Hello and welcome to After the Whistle. I'm your host, Brian Dorrington, here with marvelous Mukala Kabongo.
I'm depressed.
He's a little bit depressed. And Steve, the intern. I'm going to pass alliteration today because he's got sunglasses. He doesn't really need alliteration. He's got sunglasses on.
Sunglasses indoors.
So this is our special NBA Finals episode where we're going to recap the Celtics and Cavaliers games as well as the Houston Rockets and the Golden State Warriors. And then we're going to preview the finals between the Warriors and the Cavaliers. First, Mukala, you said you were sad, so why don't you tell us why?
Because the Celtics, I'm highly disappointed in them. They had so many opportunities in Game 7 to actually win that game. And their youth showed, their age showed, their immaturity showed. They got three-ball happy.
How come the youth and the age show?
I don't know what I'm talking about, but it all makes sense in my head. Youth and age, whatever. Same difference. So, yeah, that was that. They got three-ball happy. They weren't making any three. Between Marcus Smart, Terry Rozier, and Jaylen Brown, I think they were combined three for like 20-something, 27 or something like that. And their offense staggered. They stopped moving the ball. They stopped doing things that they did to win 3 games in this series. They stopped doing that. And, when you give a team like this hope, because the Celtics did have a 12 or 14-point lead at some point in this game, and they let the Cavs back in the game, and you give a guy like LeBron James an opening, he's going to take it, and that's exactly what he did. And I don't ever want to hear the notion of LeBron never having help, because Jeff Green and J.R. Smith definitely stepped up in that game. J.R. Smith, although he wasn't great, he hit some timely shots. Lord have mercy.
That was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you're acting like the Celtics played horribly. The Celtics didn't play horribly.
Oh, that game.
It came down to,
No.
I mean, you had Marcus Morris, Al Horford, and Tatum. They all had solid games.
Yeah, but that game was setting basketball back like it was 50 years. The way that game was being played. I think at one point, it was after the third quarter, it was like 50-something or like 50-something and 50-something. They each had 50 points after the third quarter. They were just a lot of bad shots, a lot of dumb turnovers. Both teams didn't play great. But that game, the Celtics had their chance to win that game, and they didn't capitalize. They showed their youth, so this is a learning experience for them.
But for a team that wasn't really supposed to be ready this year anyway, doesn't it give you some hope going forward?
Yeah, it gives you hope.
Especially when we get Kyrie back and Hayward back.
Yeah,
definitely.
I look at it, Celtics definitely proof that they're a championship team. Like, they've made so many upsets. They showed the fans that like they're here to rise, and they went from kind of last year, kind of like middle 7th, 6th place, 2nd place in the NBA this year. They made it to the semifinals, and they brought the game to the Cavs, I believe. Sad to see that the game that in Game 7, that's when we see the true Jason Tatum that everybody saw in the beginning of the season and all that, 24 points. But I mean, I like seeing that they come up and show that they have potential into the game. And then everybody is saying, Terry Rozier, he's going to be the next starter. Everyone, let's trade Kyrie. No, let's get rid of Terry because he only had 2 good games. And after that, it's kind of...
I wouldn't get rid of him.
He had a pretty good series. I'd trade him. You could trade him.
You could finally bait a team, the Knicks, to sell high on him, because there are teams that will be foolish enough to give up a lot for Terry Rozier. And if you find that team that you can sucker into doing that deal, I'd do it.
What do you mean sucker in? He's had a solid postseason.
He's had a solid postseason.
Ever since Kyrie took over, he's played solid. He's been. I think we even said it was Terry's team at one point.
Yeah, I'm saying that by suckering, I mean if you can find a team that would actually go over and beyond.
Like maybe a first round.
Yeah, maybe a couple first rounders for him. There's teams in this league that would do that. Terry Rozier is a good player. He's still developing, but you can trick a team into giving you more than what he is. So I mean, there's a few teams that are out there. So we'll see what happens. But if he stays, that'll just be beneficial because he'll be a solid backup.
Now, you said that you weren't going to rip Marcus Smart, which surprised Steve and myself.
Yeah, I've wasted too much energy.
You were going to rip somebody else?
Jaylen Brown, he did not. For some reason this postseason, he had the past 3 games in this series, he didn't have the most, effective games. Especially Game 7, he wasn't making no shots. he didn't go to the hoop as much as I'd like him to see, or go in the post, because there were times in this series he'd go in the post when his shot wasn't going in, or he'll attack the hoop. Game 7, he wasn't doing that. He was settling for a lot of threes, and they weren't falling. And one thing I noticed about him, he commits a lot of dumb fouls, like silly fouls he doesn't need to commit. He does that way too often. So that's something he needs to work on this offseason. Granted, this was his first year getting significant minutes, so he showed a lot of improvements, and he also showed he's still learning the game. He's still developing. But there's some things that there's some habits that he has he needs to get rid of. He needs to go to the hoop more when he has someone small on him. When his shot's not falling, he needs to attack the hoop, because he's really good at attacking the hoop. And just the dumb fouls, those are what bothers me.
You mentioned fouls. The worst fouls were when they were calling them on Tatum when he was covering LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
Those were the softest fouls. And then when LeBron flopped, was that game 6 or 7? That
Game
totally
6.
terrible
I think
flop?
it was game 6.
Whatever it was, there were some rookies don't get calls. Tatum was not getting calls
Definitely.
either way.
Definitely.
And LeBron got some cheap fouls.
It's because if you watch closely, the refs don't play the game. They like play the player basically. Like
Yeah.
you got a lot of like unknown guys like that go on the court. Well, not like unknown, but like not as big as like LeBron or KD or like players like that. And they'll get like hit hard, nothing, and then you get a flick on like the big names, and then
That's been the NBA throughout the years. I mean,
Yeah.
star players, all-star players, they'll get a call. They're gonna get a call, even if it's a tic-tac call. They'll get a call. So that's kind of expected. But I didn't like how they never called a foul on J.R. Smith for holding Tatum the whole series.
yeah.
He was holding him, grabbing him every time he tried to come off a screen. I don't think they ever called one foul on that. So that was kind of annoying. And J.R. Smith, that series, that game was depressing, and it was worse that I had to watch it with a bunch of LeBron fans, not even Cavs fans, LeBron fans.
Ooh.
They're
And
different than Cavs fans?
oh yeah.
Yeah, LeBron fans are different
Brian
than Cavs
Windhorst
fans.
is a LeBron fan.
Yeah, like LeBron fans, when he was in Miami, they were Miami Heat fans. Then when he went back to Cleveland, they were Cleveland fans because of LeBron. So they don't really have a team. They just root for LeBron. So I had to deal with that for a good 3-4 hours, and that was really annoying.
That's tough.
Yeah.
I feel for you, man. I can tell you're still emotionally drained.
Man, it was the worst.
You gotta get you some coffee or something. This is no good.
But-
All right, so let's move on to the Rockets and Warriors. You guys, I mean, this series came down to Game 7 as well. What's that look? You want to talk
Rockets.
about missing 3-pointers? We just mentioned this before. Houston set an NBA record, I think it's a postseason record, with 27 missed 3-pointers in a row.
I mean,
James Harden.
You're not gonna win You're not gonna win anything playing basketball like that.
No.
Shooting that many threes. No, that's why I'm happy that the Rockets aren't in the finals, because if it was the Rockets and the Cavs, it would have pretty much been a pickup game, man. Isolation basketball between LeBron and James Harden. They would have just been dribble, 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 somebody jack up 3. Dribble, 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 dribble. So I did not want to see that. I can't stand the Rockets offense. It's one of the worst offenses in the game, and it showed. These guys, you're not going to win a game just jacking up threes every time. It made no sense. And they had a lead, too. They had a double-digit lead. The Warriors came back, and the Rockets helped them out. I don't know, over 20 threes in a row.
Yeah, and I think it was the second half they were outscored 65-25.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. But Steve, at the same time, they missed Chris Paul. I mean,
So,
he was in
Chris
game.
Paul is cursed by the basketball
Yeah,
gods.
do you think this series would have played out differently had he been there for 6 and 7? And how did you see this series going out?
Game 7, yes. Game 6, no. Like, I mean, Chris Paul was a big factor throughout the whole series. You can definitely tell that. He's one of the reasons why they won 3 games. But not having him in Game 4 killed them big time. But, I mean, I look at it like all 4 teams definitely proved in the series that they deserve to be in the championship. Like, Rockets, they were underdogs, but they still showed that they had, like, the shots. They still had, like, put the enthusiasm to, like, win a game. And they came out, played hard. Like, James Harden had 32 points. He came out. One thing I did like seeing, though, in this game, and I don't like the Warriors because like everyone's like, oh, Warriors and everything. Like they came out of nowhere and everyone's like jumping on them. That's why I don't like them, because like just everybody like just jumps on bandwagons. But one player I do like watching is Draymond Green. He's funny to watch. I don't like him as a player, don't like him as a person, but he's so funny to watch. Like, he always does dumb fouls. He always gets mad easily. He just like complains, and then like
he's an animated guy.
He starts so much drama, and then James Harden got fouled by him, and he tried helping him up, and James Harden refused. So he just threw James Harden's arms down and walks away. And I'm like, this is just like, it kind of like shows back. I feel like it kind of shows back to like the 90s and like 80s when like everybody got like into fights and everything, and like that's how I see Draymond Green. Like he wants to get into a fight with someone.
Yeah, he's an instigator. Draymond Green is an instigator. He will bait you. He's he calculates everything. He's a hothead. I like watching him play because he's a.
You guys agree on one thing. You guys both like watching Draymond Green play. I think we agree on.
It's
you
hilarious.
guys finally agreed on something on this show.
No, it's hilarious because he's always angry. Even when he fouls someone and you can see it's a blatant foul, he will complain and be demonstrative to the ref. It's like, guy, look at the replay. You fouled him. But it's not that fouls happen. So, I mean, but yeah, the Western Conference. I'm just glad the Rockets aren't in the finals because I could not sit there and watch their offense in the finals. It's really hard to watch.
So let's talk about the finals now. Do you think that it's good to have Golden State in the finals again versus the Cavaliers for the fourth time in a row? Because personally, I don't think it's good for basketball. It's not good for other markets, especially small market teams. And how are you going to sell this game? How's this game any different from last year, besides the fact the Cavaliers are worse?
It's good for ratings and.
How's it going to be good for ratings?
It's good for ratings and talking.
There's a lot of people who say they're not going to be watching the finals.
They're going to be watching those. They're going to be watching. It's good for debate shows and talking, and, like media talking points or whatever, story. But yeah, I'm not excited for this year. I'm not that excited because the first three matchups, there was actually a storyline behind them. The first year when the Warriors won, they were, they didn't win because Kyrie got hurt, Kevin Love got hurt. That's why the Warriors win. The second year, the Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. They came back. This was LeBron-led team beat a 73-win team. Then last year, they got KD. And, it was just, you got the storylines there. Now it's just like, yeah, it's them two again. Okay, I guess.
And with the worst team, I mean, does anybody, the Cleveland Cavaliers are the biggest underdogs since 2001 when the 76ers were an underdog to the Lakers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how do you see this series playing out? Because I don't think the Cavaliers have a shot in this.
They have a chance.
I think, just so you know, you're witnessing history on the show right now because you will never hear me say these words again. I want Cavs to win the series.
Oh, wow. No,
never will I say those words in my life again. That was the first time and the only time I will ever say that sentence.
He's going to say that again next week. Next year.
Yeah,
I'm only saying it because I want everybody that's been jumping on the Warriors bandwagon to be like, oh, next year, oh, they lost. So, like, okay, let's move over to a different team. Like, see, maybe if we root for these teams, maybe this team will make it. Like, finally shift away, okay? Like, it's the only reason why I'm saying it, and I'm sticking to that right now.
I think the Cavs have a chance. You have LeBron James. Anytime you have LeBron James, you have a chance. You have a chance. If you look at all, the Warriors are the better team completely, but they do have bad habits. They have a lot of bad habits. Number one is the turnovers. They turn the ball over a lot, and it's careless turnovers. Number two, they commit a lot of dumb fouls. That's another team. They commit a lot of dumb fouls. Rebounding, Cleveland, Tristan Thompson's always on the glass. So rebounding, that's another issue. And also, can they keep their composure? The Warriors, this entire basketball season, they've shown they can't keep their composure, especially Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Can these guys keep their composure when things aren't going their way? Because we've seen it. We've seen them blown out a few games in this playoffs. They got blown out by the Pelicans in one game. They got blown out a couple times by the Rockets, I should say. So it can happen. The Cavs can win, but it has to be. Everything has to go right for the Cavaliers. All their players have to be healthy. Kevin Love can't miss a game. Their role players actually have. Jeff Green needs to have another game like he had Game 7 against Boston. J.R. Smith, He's either up or he's either down, so you're not sure. So everything has to go perfect for the Cavs.
See, I don't think that the Cavaliers can win this series. I think Golden State can lose this series because if Golden State's offense is acting like that well-oiled machine like they are, and Thompson's hitting threes, and
you'll see game
Steph
3.
Curry's hitting threes. Yeah,
You'll see like that game 3 against Houston. It'll be like that.
It'll be a blowout.
Well, my question is, Draymond Green might be ruled out game 1. So how will that affect the Warriors? He rolled his ankle in game 7. He said he didn't feel it during the game because of the adrenaline and everything, but now it's after the game, and he said he rolled it really badly.
What was game 1? Monday? He'll be fine.
Well, they also got Iguodala and Kevin Love, 2 big injuries on each team.
Iguodala's not playing game 1.
Iguodala's not playing. They don't even know what's wrong with him apparently, so there's no timeline on his return.
Yeah, Kevin Love. I think he should be fine now.
Yeah,
because the concussion.
He's been practicing, but still, if Draymond Green is not ready to play in game 1, how does that? I wonder how that will affect their offense.
I think Iguodala is probably the bigger worry for me in terms of he was the one guy who could cover LeBron. I was looking at some stats and when he was covering LeBron, he's one of the best at covering him in the NBA. So I think that's a huge.
Yeah, and they're just like that's less bodies for them to throw at LeBron because they do have they like to throw different guys at LeBron, and that's just one less guy who's actually a good defender, and he's also solid off the bench offensively, and he could pass the ball, do a lot of things for them. So that's a key loss for them. But if he gets back in the series at some point, it'll be a major upgrade. But this series is going to be. A lot of people say it's going. It might not last 5 games, so I wouldn't be surprised, but. Once again, you can't. LeBron is, that guy is, he's something else. You can't never count him out. But this is a tall task for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just goes back to my question: what changed since last year, except for the Cavaliers got worse? There's no Kyrie Irving now, and they don't have a great supporting cast.
And they're 3-ball happy. There's a lot. That's one thing about these. 3-ball happy teams. The Warriors are really good at it.
Well, the Splash Brothers.
They have the 2 greatest. They have the 2 greatest 3-point shooters ever on their team.
Yeah.
So the Cavs, they're hot and cold, and they get cold a lot. So they could either shoot themselves into a game or they'll shoot themselves out of a game.
I see them choking at threes. They're gonna have too much pressure on them, and I'm just gonna sit there, a big smile on my face, watching game 1, and just missing. That's all I'm hoping.
You never know. Crazier things have happened in sports.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 2008, 18-0, 18-1.
Hey, whoa, what are we doing bringing that up?
I'm just saying.
That's a totally different sport and a much bigger heartbreak for me. All right, so let's do it. Let's do the predictions. Why don't you go first, Steve? How many games and who wins?
Praying 4 games.
4 games?
Praying 4 games.
And who you
Not
picking?
saying I already said it once. I'm never saying that sentence again.
So you're picking the Cleveland Cavaliers in 4?
Mm-hmm.
Cleveland's going to sweep the Golden State Warriors.
That's a bold statement. That is bold. That's extremely bold.
Well,
yeah,
if you feel that way, you can get good odds on Vegas.
You need to do some sacrifices or something. That's extremely bold.
Wow.
4. Woo.
Okay, Mukala, what do you think?
I'm hoping it goes 6 games because this is the end of basketball season, and then once basketball season's over, I get depressed. So, and they need to have
baseball?
it. Once basketball season's over, I get depressed. Yeah. So let's see if they can go. If it goes 6 games, I honestly think the Warriors are going to win it. So, but crazier things have happened. I just can't deal with the LeBron folks. That's all. If any way they win this series, the LeBron folks are going to be more out of control than they usually are.
I'm gonna take the Warriors in 5 games, and I'm also gonna predict that ratings for this series are gonna plummet from far more than they did last year because I just don't think it's sellable. I know a lot of people online are saying that they're not going to watch. I know a lot of them will.
They're going to watch it.
A lot of them will, but I just don't see this as something that's good for basketball. I think people are tired of these 2 teams, and I think that the Golden State is an overwhelming favorite, and there's not much here, and I think it's pretty clear the Golden State's the much better team.
Another thing, we need to start giving Steph Curry some respect. That guy, he's done the past few years in the playoffs. He's been. People have kind of been disrespecting him for the past couple years. They haven't been giving him the respect that he deserves for the things he's done on the court. He's Kevin Durant's the best player on their team, but that team goes as Steph Curry goes. And if you look at his playoff numbers, they're even better than Kobe Bryant's. So Steph Curry, for what he's been doing, I call him the greatest shooter ever in NBA history. So for what he's been doing for these past couple of years, I mean, people need to start giving him some respect, especially the national media, because they for some reason they try to diminish everything he's done.
He won an NBA MVP.
He's won 2 MVPs, one unanimous.
Yeah.
He should have had a Finals MVP their first run, and they gave it to Andre Iguodala. I don't know why. Don't ask me why. So Steph Curry, people need to start giving that man some respect.
I give him some respect. Yeah. Steve doesn't like him. All right, so we got a little extra time left. Let's make predictions of after watching the playoffs. MVP and Rookie of the Year. Steve?
Rookie of the Year, I'm hoping goes to Jason Tatum. I like watching him. I like watching his game.
Yeah, we're biased over here.
And that's not even about that. I like watching him in Duke and everything. Like, I love watching him.
That's the only thing I don't like about him. He went to Duke.
Oh, God. Duke's not in Canada.
Dare you?
You see I have my North Carolina. You see I have my North Carolina colors on.
Oh, that's going to...
An MVP, who do you got?
MVP, I don't know. I still say James Harden. He was fun to watch in the season 2. I think he deserves it. So I'm gonna go with James Harden.
I honestly, I believe LeBron James is getting MVP. I think LeBron's getting MVP this year. I honestly think he's getting MVP. For Rookie of the Year, I'm going with Jason Tatum just because I'm biased. So.
Yep. And I agree with you on both counts. Most people in the media say James Harden is the clear-cut front runner or maybe not clear-cut, but the front runner for the MVP. I think that other people have been going Google Gaga over what LeBron has done with this team. They say it's the worst team he's ever had. So I'm going to say LeBron James as MVP, Jason Tatum as a Rookie of the Year.
Definitely. Yeah, that sounds about accurate.
And
this is the passing time.
And with that, we are out. That is our NBA Finals preview show. We'll still have our regular show this Friday. We'll be talking about other things like baseball and all the other sports news.
Yay.
And Mukala, you do the outro, so I'm stealing your thunder. Why don't you go ahead and take us home? All
right, it's outro. One more thing. So there's been a lot of debate about LeBron versus Michael Jordan, who's the greatest of all time. I'm just gonna need. We can have the conversation, but everybody in the national media, when they talk about LeBron and Michael Jordan, y'all need to start putting respect on Michael Jordan's name, because when you guys make the claim that LeBron is better than Jordan, you guys say it in a way that makes Michael Jordan look overrated. So please, when you have this debate about LeBron and Michael Jordan, put some respect on Michael Jordan's name. Don't try to make it seem like he was an overrated player, because that's what it seems like. You guys do all this hoopla about LeBron surpassing him in every statistical category, but you don't talk about Michael Jordan's impact on the game worldwide and his dominance on the court. So please.
And the rings.
And the rings. So we can have the debate, but don't try to make it seem like Michael Jordan was overrated. Put some respect on that man's name.
Sounds like a PSA.
And with that, and on that note, we are out of here. June 8th, a fistful of dollars. Come here.
That's right.
Doors open 6:30. Movie starts 7 p.m. What else we got? We got a lot happening here. So come check us out. www.lyntv.org, Facebook, Twitter, Lynn Community Television. And we are out. We'll see you guys Friday.
He's so good at that.